Birds of Celtic magic ride, soaring over Ireland, bathed in morning light through the ancient stones, and the hawthorn's soft bloom, chasing shadows, dispelling the gloom. The old woman by the hearth, her eyes like the sea, she tells of the raven and what it can be. A message from far lands, or a soul taking flight across the deep valleys and into the night. Oh, little wings of wonder, birds of Celtic magic ride, soaring over Ireland, bathed in morning light through the ancient stones, and the hawthorn's soft bloom, chasing shadows, dispelling the gloom.
Okay, so let's talk about a group of birds that are, well, they're everywhere in Ireland, right? So common, we kind of just look right through them. But what if I told you that hiding in plain sight is this incredible story, one about mind-blowing intelligence, ancient myths, and a family of true feathered geniuses? I mean, you see them everywhere, on fence posts, hopping around in city parks, soaring along the coast. But have you ever really stopped to look, to wonder what's actually going on behind those sharp, intelligent eyes? Because what if this bird you see every day is actually one of the smartest animals on the entire planet? A creature so clever, its behavior literally inspired ancient myths. We're going to see how modern science is now proving what ancient people in Ireland seem to know all along, that this family of birds is, well, it's something else entirely. All right, so before we get into the whole genius thing, we should probably meet the family, right? First things first, let's get to know the main players. Ireland is home to 5 native species of the Corvid family. That's the scientific name for the crow family. And you know what? Once you know a couple of key tricks, they're actually pretty easy to tell apart. Okay, so here's a quick guide. At the top, you've got the big boss, the raven. It's the largest, and it has this really deep crunk sound. Then you have the hooded crow, and the giveaway here is that gray vest it looks like it's wearing. Next up, the rook. The key feature for an adult rook is that bare, pale patch of skin at the base of its beak. And of course, everyone knows the magpie, right? That super long tail and that loud, rattling chatter. Unmistakable. And last but not least, we've got the smallest member of the family, the jackdaw. Just look for those really striking, pale gray eyes. Now, the one place people get tripped up all the time is telling the raven and the hooded crow apart. But honestly, there's a really simple trick. Forget about size for a second, because that can be misleading. Just look at them in the air. If the tail is shaped like a clear wedge, you're looking at a raven. Simple as that. If it's more squared or rounded, and of course, if the bird has that gray body, it's a hooded crow. Also, think about how they fly. Ravens are total show-offs. They soar, they do barrel rolls, all kinds of acrobatics. Hooded crows, much more businesslike, just a steady, direct flight from A to B. Now that we know who's who, let's get to the really, really cool part. The part that changes how you see these birds forever. We are talking about their intelligence. And listen, I'm not just talking clever for a bird. We're talking about a level of brain power that rivals primates. An intelligence so complex that honestly, scientists are still scrambling to fully get their heads around it. And look, this isn't just me saying it. This is a direct quote from the research. We're talking about decades of scientific study here. In some specific tests, complex problem-solving stuff, these birds are performing at the same level as great apes. We're talking chimpanzees, gorillas. Just let that sink in for a second. A bird you see on a telephone wire has the problem-solving skills of a chimp. So what does that actually look like in the real world? This isn't just instinct, like a bird building a nest the same way every time. No. This is flexible, creative thinking. It's about facing a brand new problem and inventing a solution right there on the spot. Let's actually see it in action. Okay, so this is a famous experiment. It's basically the Aesop's Fable test. Scientists set up this problem. There's a tasty treat floating in a tube of water, but it's just too low for the rook to reach. And nearby, there's a pile of stones. Now get this, with zero training, the rook figures it out. It starts picking up the stones one by one and dropping them into the tube. It understands that the stones will make the water level rise. And even crazier, they often pick the bigger, heavier stones first, as if they know they'll work faster. That's not just trial and error, that's a real understanding of physics, of cause and effect. So, this incredible intelligence really boils down to three main things. First, tool use, and they get really creative with this. You'll see hooded crows in coastal towns dropping shellfish onto roads and then just waiting for a car to come along and crack it for them. That's using a car as a tool. Second, future planning. This one blows my mind. A single corvid can hide thousands of pieces of food over a huge area and then remember where they all are months later. Their memory is just staggering. And third, and maybe the most complex, is their social intelligence. They recognize individual human faces, and they remember if you were nice to them or not. They also understand what other birds might be thinking. For example, if a crow knows it's being watched by another crow, it will pretend to hide food in one spot, then secretly move it somewhere else later. That's deception. So think about all this stuff you just talked about. The tool use, the insane memory, the social smarts. You have to realize people thousands of years ago in Ireland, they saw all this too. They didn't miss it, but they didn't have the language of science to explain it, right? So they used the language they had, the language of mythology. And this is where the story, I think, gets truly fascinating. I mean, imagine it. You're living in ancient Ireland, and you see these birds acting with what looks like purpose and understanding. They seem to show up at really important, often grim moments. They're not just random birds. They seem to know things. So you don't just see a bird, you see a sign, a messenger, maybe even the physical form of a god. And right at the heart of all this is a figure known as the Morrígan. Now, she was one of the major Celtic deities, a seriously powerful goddess of war, of fate, of who gets to be king. And when she chose to appear to mortals, she almost always took the form of, you guessed it, a crow or a raven. So picture this, you're an ancient warrior, you're about to go into a huge battle, and you look up, and you see a flock of crows and ravens gathering overhead. For you, that's not just a bunch of birds. That is the Morrígan herself arriving on the scene to decide who's gonna live and who's gonna die. It would have been an absolutely terrifying, powerful omen. It's a powerful story, right? But what if it wasn't supernatural? What if the reason those birds were there was actually a perfect demonstration of that incredible intelligence we were just exploring? Okay, let's connect the dots. The scientific fact is that corvids are brilliant scavengers. They learned a simple equation: large groups of shouting men with pointy metal things that usually results in a big meal later on. So they showed up. They were just being smart opportunists. Now, the ancient Irish, they saw the exact same thing, but their interpretation was that it was prophecy. The legend of the hero Colonial is the ultimate example. In the story, his enemies are too afraid to go near him until a crow lands on his shoulder. For them, that was the sign from the Morrígan that he was truly dead. But from a biological view, it was the expert scavenger in the area finally making the calculation that it was safe to approach its meal. So you have these two ways of looking at the exact same behavior. What the ancients called supernatural knowledge, we call learned behavior. What they saw as messengers of fate, we see as highly intelligent opportunists. Where they saw a god in animal form, we see a complex problem solver. The incredible thing is, the explanation has changed, but the awe at what the bird can do, that's exactly the same. Science doesn't take away from the myth here. It actually makes you appreciate just how incredibly observant our ancestors were. And that's the key takeaway, really. The myths weren't just some made-up fairy tales. They were a rational attempt to explain something truly extraordinary. They were a testament to the observable, undeniable genius of these birds. It was an ancient culture's way of paying respect to an intelligence that seemed, well, it seemed almost otherworldly. So, the next time you're out and about and you see a crow on a fence post, what are you gonna see? Just a common, everyday bird? Or will you see a tool user, a master planner, a creature with a memory that would put us all to shame, a living legend? Well, now you know the story. You decide.